Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Raft series. Today, little bit of a short one, certainly on the timescale of my regular Raft episodes. So get yourself, strapped in, put on your favourite swim fins, and let's get started. Now, in the previous episode, I did indicate that we're going to set sail towards the next storyline location. Yeah, in retrospect, I realised that we are still a little bit low on some supplies. We need to do some cooking. We need to do a little bit more gathering, yada, yada, yada. So, this episode, possibly another one or two after it, is going to be about the lengths and breadths that we go to do our restock. Don't worry, I did cut all of the cooking out. It was quite repetitive and it did take quite a while. So I will spare you that level of pain and suffering. However, everything else in this episode is what was left from about 40 minutes worth of recorded session. So you can do the maths. There was a lot of cooking involved. So, with that out of the way, our first jobby here, as it always tends to be when we pull up next to an island, is we're out to harvest some wood and some fruit, and definitely not some flowers. We're pretty much done with flowers at this stage. We've got 3 hives running, and at this point, look, unless I decided to go, manic with the engines, I seriously doubt we're going to have trouble keeping up with our fuel needs with the 3 hives. 3 hives is fine. So we don't need more flowers because they are more than productive enough for what we need. So we're basically going to ignore the flowers from this point on. Fruit though, we need more fruit. Fruit's very important. There'll be some later recipes that will utilise some of the other fruits as well, but more so at the moment, we've run out of pineapple and watermelon seeds, so if only for that, we are definitely looking at gathering every single one that we come across. Not to mention we do use watermelons because they're quite efficient as far as the other component to creating biofuel. So, we've cleared our island of what's above the waves, or have we? Alright, while we get a little distracted here with improvements, I did think it was about time that I threw another tree planter here. So we've got 3 now. We've got a mountain of seeds for those coconut trees. So yeah, look, I may even add another one to that at some point. I know there's not much point having more than 4, particularly for the amount of seeds that I tend to gather when I'm out and about. 4, you will definitely chew through the seeds you're gathering faster than you're gathering them. 2, I'm going to say no, because I haven't been regularly planting them, but you do tend to gather enough seeds to keep 2 planters going pretty much indefinitely. 3 will probably gradually chew through the backlog that I've got, but that's pretty much the name of the game at this stage because I've got excess seeds and I need wood, so it makes sense to do that. Now, with that little bit of sidetrack out of the way, we are now about to do something which, honestly, I can't remember ever doing before. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't in a previous playthrough, but we've never done it in this playthrough. So we made ourselves a metal detector and we are using it. So what you do is you equip it and you click the left mouse button and you hold it down or release it, whatever you want to do. Now what you're looking for is if anything lights up, it means there's something on the island that you're on. And so you should go for a walk around until you find the point at which all of the lights are lit up, indicating that you are basically on top of it. And then you need your shovel. You will dig at whatever spot you're at, and you will find, buried quote unquote treasure. Now, there are quite a long list of different things that you can dig up. Not the least of which is just the normal stuff that you find, so scrap and wood and that sort of thing. You can also potentially find titanium, which is going to be very essential. We didn't get any this time because it was the wrong kind of island. Apparently titanium, I think you need... Actually, no, I think that qualifies as a desert island. I don't remember. But you need, desert islands have a better chance of finding... actually, no, that was a tropical island. Never mind. I'm going off on a tangent here, but certain island types have a higher chance of getting the titanium. Other than that, the other treasures seem to be equally likely off, various islands. So... the rule of thumb is the small islands usually only have one treasure. The medium to large ones generally have 2 or 3 for the bigger ones. And then I think from memory, Balboa actually has a chance at a lot more than that. Technically, I could set sail and go back to Balboa and pick those up. If I do, I probably will only do a very short episode about it because, you guys have seen Balboa already. It's more about, where I find the treasures and what I get out of them. So if I do end up doing that at some stage, I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version. But for now, we're pretty much done with our above the waves exercise with this island. However, we do need a few little odds and ends before we do our dive and have a go at dealing with Bruce. So we're getting pretty close to doing that now. We've got our little stabbing implement out. It's just about worn out, so we've got a spare one there. And we've got a spare hook as well, because this is one of the small islands that I seem to recall actually has quite a lot of stuff around it. So I made a spare hook just in case I needed it. Now, that said though, there is a modest amount of the stuff under the waves that we're probably not going to bother with. So stones, for example. But metals, yeah, we've always got room for metals. We may resume collecting sand and clay, simply because I've got more room now. I ended up moving the sand and the glass out into their own chest. So yeah, we will gather some of that. But before we can do any of that, we need to deal with Bruce. And I'd kind of lost sight of him when I jumped into the water, which is why he managed to take a swing at me before I realised where he was coming from. But now we know where he is, even though I am a little rusty with my Bruce encounters. We are going to be able to deal with him pretty effectively. I think he gets another nibble or two at us just because we mistimed the stab a little bit, but rest assured, he's not going to last very long. Alright, and there we go. Our familiar friend Bruce is no more. So we are going to loot him bar the head, and we're going to go straight into clearing the reef. We do pretty well for metal out of this reef. Not too bad for seaweed and things like that as well. I'm just going to let this run through at normal speed, and you can see exactly where all the bits of metal and things are as we go. Yeah, the clucker noise. Yeah, it gets a bit kind of annoying after a while, but it is completely self-inflicted. I mean, I knew one clucker was loud enough, but to have three of them there is, yeah, it's a bit for the ears, but that's fine. I generally drop the volume a little bit with my recording so that you guys don't have to hear it at the full volume. If you know, want to hear the sound of cluckers at full volume, yeah, just leave me a comment down below. I'll happily share that experience with anyone who's interested. For the moment, where it's transitioned into night time, so I've done a bit of an adjustment here just to try and lighten things up. Yeah, look, not much more of the reef left to gather here. And then we can look at what our next steps or mission will be. But from here, we're going to be setting sail for, I believe there's another island that does show up on our radar that isn't one of the storyline ones. So we're going to head for that because last time we did that, we actually made out pretty well. That was the one with the trader and the goat that we failed to capture. So fingers crossed there is something really awesome at that location. At the very least, if that marker, the fact that it shows up on our radar, also is a way of indicating that, yeah, there's a trader on that island. Well, we've got some trash cubes now. We might actually look at buying some bait and try and do a bit of fishing and see what we can do about starting the whole grinding our rep with the trader exercise. Fingers crossed that that is what we can do, but stay tuned. I'm sure any of that, if it happens, will be part of the next episode. Yeah, I kind of forgot how much reef there is around this island. This is actually a really good island. Might have to make a mental note of how much iron we ended up with after we've finished clearing, but this one feels, yeah, pretty generous. Have to remember it's the one with a split down the middle. I can't remember if we've actually come across one of these already in our playthrough. If we have, I'm sure I've already reached the same conclusion. But this is a great thing about, being older and tighter than, a young person, is I also have the joy of randomly forgetting things as well. So, yeehaw. All right, let's see if we can get this reef cleaned off and think about what our next little goal is for this episode. All right, well, reef's all done. In terms of working out what our next goal for this episode is, well, the goal's an easy one. It's the end of the episode. Now we've got there. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.